What's a great TV show that nobody talks about? The original The Tick cartoon. The Detectorists, extremely dry and very British, but a really heartfelt and lovely comedy about some metal detectorists in Essex. Also forgot to mention, I think the increasingly poor decisions of Todd Margaret was absolutely hilarious, but I've never met anyone else who knows what it is. Edit holy shit. Probably my second most liked comment ever, and also my second gold in 10 years of Reddit. I can't believe it's because of Todd Margaret. Thanks for the gold, although I'm not sure what it does. Party down, incredible cast and humor. You're the worst. 1010 in my book. It's hilarious and every episode hits. The writing is incredible and it is perfectly cast. Whole series is on Hulu. The Great. It's great. Hilarious and charming and occasionally a true story. Huzzah. Indeed, huzzah, now duck off. No one ever menciones Dairy Girls, I think it's funnier than half the stuff popular RN. Most of Brian Fuller's stuff, other than Hannibal, which did get some traction. Dead Like Me and Pushing Daisies were both top tier. Dead Like Me was so underrated as a show. No one I know has even heard of it. I've heard of it, and oh my god, the episode where she finds out someone in her family is going to die and the amount of times she tried to get them to see her. That show broke me in the best ways and I was so sad to see it go. Crazy Ex-Girlfriend was better than it had any business being. Netflix kept suggesting it to me and I was like, ew no, please stop, but then one day I was really stoned and was like, duck it, show me what you've got, and boy howdy, I'm so glad I did. It's funny, smart, a little soapy, which I appreciate when you want action that doesn't feel life or death, and then boom, huge amazing depictions of mental health struggles and toxic parenting. I have literally discussed the song Maybe She's Not Such a Heinous Bitch After All with my therapist on multiple occasions. Is it cheesy? Yes. Is it good? Yes. Should you give it a try? Yes. Adam Schlesinger wrote many of the songs on the show, and was one of the earliest celebrity COVID deaths. He was also in Fountains of Wayne and wrote Stacy's mom added the word wrote. Holy shit, Adam Schlesinger died? He was so great at songs that kind of satirized the genre. I think one of my fave songs was him writing the titular song for the movie That Thing You Do. By the Wonders. Counterpart. Great cast and acting, cool story, 2 solid seasons. I want to go back and rewatch it. The Other Side had a global pandemic that killed millions. As a result, they don't gather in groups in public, they wear masks, they have UV hand sanitizers everywhere. And all this predates COVID by a few years. Also, J.K. Simmons is terrific as always. Better Off Ted was unceremoniously killed before its time, with ABC citing a lack of viewers. It pops up from time to time on Reddit, but being from 2009, it's largely out of the cultural sphere these days. Which is unfortunate, because Portia de Rossi in particular is incredible in it. I was looking for a good clip to show the best of this show for people who haven't watched it before, and the Jabberwocky presentation, linked below by a brilliant person, is probably the single greatest example of the show I can think of. As a few have been asking, if you're wanting to give it a shot, it's on Hulu right now. We may have created a monster in the lab. It's not a monster. It's a cyborg that can kill without remorse. I was talking about Phil. What are you talking about? I was also talking about Phil. Okay, it's classified. But it's gonna be a fantastic new tool, if we can get it to tell the difference between soldiers and children. Russian Doll. Nobody in my life talks about that show. Loved it. Miracle Workers, all seasons of it. Every person I've put onto this show loves it. I really like the Nick. Dirk Gently's Holistic Detective Agency. Hidden gem. Did I make some mistakes? Yes. Did I only make mistakes? Yes. But did it all work out? Kind of. Such a great show. American Vandal. Sliders is a show that was supposedly popular in the mid-90s yet is sadly forgotten. The first 3 seasons were awesome. Sliders was awesome. I'll never forget the episode where he finally gets back to his timeline and left because the gate didn't squeak. Then a repairman comes out and says, "I fixed that squeaky gate for you," to his mom. Thanks for the flashback. Man, I remember watching that episode on TV and screaming at it, "No, Quinn, don't slide, you're back home." Such a great show. Surprised no one in this thread has brought up Better Off Ted. The Terror, Season 1 is amazing. Russian Doll. Black Books. Look at him, look at this bastard. Look at him. What does he want from me? He wants to buy a book. Yeah, but why does he come to me? Why me? Well, you sell books. Yeah, I know. It's not that type of operation. Warehouse 13. That and Eureka. Halt and Catch Fire. I love this show, and I don't think I've ever heard anyone mention it. Lee Pace and Mackenzie Davis are both great in it as well. Really interesting topics as they go on in seasons as well. Suburgatory. Gallivant edit. Wow, didn't expect to come back and see so many updates. Glad the show still has a lot of fans. Patriot on Amazon Prime. Amazing show that got like no buzz even when it was released. Stephen Conrad makes great shows. For that matter, Perpetual Grace Limited is another good one made by him as well. Couple of my favorite shows. They've just got a certain flair that is hard to explain. I don't think I know one other person that's seen either of them, but there is a cult following that I see pop up on Reddit occasionally. I loved Patriot. So bummed it got cancelled. The season 2 finale kinda works at wrapping it up. It at least provides some catharsis. Garth Marenghi's Dark Place. How to with John Wilson. My favorite. HBO Max. For any fans of Nathan For You or I Think You Should Leave, check this shit out. Check out Joe Pera Talks With You on HBO Max too if you're a fan of those series. Good Omens. I love a feel-good British comedy. Spartacus. First couple of episodes are terribly bad, but then it somehow turned into one of the best piece of drama, treason and action you could ever wish for. A friend begged me to try it out saying it was amazing and I was really turned off at first, but it somehow goes from complete garbage to absolute must-watch in the span of its first season. Travelers. Beau's Carnival, extremely otherworldly and atmospheric. I feel like Justified has not received the attention recognition that it deserves. That show was solid all the way through. Mission Hill. Just too ahead of its time. I liked Black Sails and I hardly see it on people's good shows list. Spaced. A sitcom created, written and starring Simon Pegg and Jessica Hines and is directed by Edgar Wright, all of which went on to work on Shaun of the Dead. Hines had a small role in Shaun, Hot Fuzz and The World's End. Nick Frost also has a role in Spaced. Shame it only had 2 seasons, but every episode is great. Another show which I see no one talk about is Nirvana the band. The show started as a web series but made its way onto Viceland as an actual TV series. It's really worth a watch, but it's really hard to find a place to watch it due to licensing rights. Orphan Black. The acting of Tatiana Maslany alone is worth the watch. Hard to believe all those characters are the same actress. Kim's Convenience. Canadian show about a Korean family in Toronto. Are You Being Served? Old series but absolutely hilarious if you're a fan of British comedy. So many episodes that are just as funny if not funnier after watching it again. The only sitcom I've had more repeat viewings of is Seinfeld. The Leftovers is ducking amazing, yet I almost never come across anyone who has seen the show. Taskmaster UK. It's the best show on television. I've never laughed so hard at almost anything. I talk about it too much. Northern Exposure. Orphan Black. Rome was a show about, you guessed it, Rome. It was so good, but it was on HBO and didn't get much traction until after it was cancelled and the set was destroyed. 2 amazing seasons that end on a cliffhanger, so you will wonder about it for decades, like I have. Rome walked so the Tudors and got could run. Dairy Girls. Mythic Quest. If you're a fan of Always Sunny in Philadelphia and video games, you'll probably enjoy it.